Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here with the new and improved NFL show, man. Buckle up. I think you guys are really going to enjoy what we have in store for you guys. Look, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces here on this show as we just break down every single NFL game on the card. We're going to toss in some props, and we're just here to help you guys win some money, man. I'm your host, Jay Briggs. I'll be with you all season long as we just cook up this NFL action, man. So I ain't here to waste your time. Without further ado, let's make some money this year. Let's kick the crap out of the books. Let's hop right into this week one NFL action. All right, fellas. First game of the season. They gave us a great one, the AFC Championship rematch. We got the Baltimore Ravens out on the road facing the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champs. Chiefs currently 3-point favorites at home at the crib. Money man Mitch, talk to me.
Last year, we saw the Chiefs go down on their opener against the Detroit Lions in a game that they kind of led at halftime. We saw Tony drop a bunch of balls in that game and also make some misplays. They don't have him around this year to look at a lot of those things. But I think, when we look at the way the Ravens have kind of revamped the roster, and I think, adding Derrick Henry here to the running game is certainly going to help. You got to remember, he's not a guy that generally the first half of the game is going to get to you. It's in that second half of the game as he wears you down. But you still have to pay attention to him. And I think when you have a guy like that and Lamar Jackson in the same backfield, I think the Chiefs could find a way to win, but I'll take the points in my back pocket with the Ravens in this one.
Well, Mitch mentioned that the Chiefs lost their opener last year against the Lions, but they had won 8 straight season openers before that, going 6-2 ATS. When you take a look at how defending Super Bowl champions have done at home in week 1, they've gone 16, 12-2 ATS, including 10-6 with 2 pushes on Thursday nights. I actually like the Chiefs here. When you take a look at how teams like Baltimore that have been off back-to-back winning years, when they're installed as an underdog in week 1, they've only covered 32% since 1989. I'm going to take the Chiefs -3.
Yeah, this is a tough game to start off the season. A rematch of the AFC Championship game. Of course, we know how that ended. Mahomes and the Chiefs did end up getting that done and propelling themselves to go and win the Super Bowl. The Ravens this season, I think they're going to take a slight step back. This roster is not as deep as it has been in years past. The Ravens are more top-heavy and not as deep as they have been in years past. The Chiefs, I actually feel like, got more depth over the offseason than they had last year. Look, I think the line tells us a lot of what we need to know here in this game. Remember what the line was in the AFC Championship game between these two teams. Now, this is a tremendous swing in line. I don't usually like laying points with the team coming off the Super Bowl in any league. NBA, I don't like the laying points with the NBA champion on banner night, NHL on, trophy night, NFL on Super Bowl night, first game. It's just not a great spot for those teams historically. But I want to take the Chiefs in this game. I want to take the Chiefs. The line currently sitting at 3. If a 2.5 pops up, I am for sure on the Chiefs. Sitting at 3, I would lean Chiefs. Forced to pick, I would take the Chiefs, but it's not my favorite play here of week 1. Lamar Jackson as an underdog in his career is money, just about as money as it gets. He's only lost one time in his entire career as an underdog. But Patrick Mahomes as a short home favorite is just about as money as it gets as well. Toughest game really on the entire card for week 1. And that's the game we start off our week with. And I know a lot of you looking for action here in this one. Again, me personally, I'm going out with the best player I've ever seen touch a football, the greatest quarterback I've ever seen, and that's Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I want the 2.5, but if forced to lay 3, I'll lay the 3. Next game up, we're in Brazil. For the first time, I believe an NFL game is in Brazil. Friday night game, that's also exciting, but we have the Green Bay Packers out on the road facing the Philadelphia Eagles, or they're both out on the road facing each other. Eagles laying 3 here in this football game. Big Al McMorty, how you feeling here in this one?
Well, I see a lot of 2.5s. In fact, I see 2.5 pretty much across the board. But, when you take a look at how these international games have gone, the NFL has played in Mexico 4 times. The favorite has covered all 4 of those games. The NFL has played 39 games in Germany and England. The favorite is 23 and 16 ATS in those. So combined, outside the USA, The favorite's gone 27-16 ATS. I do like the favorite here. I'm going to take the Eagles -2.5.
I'm not buying into the Eagles' hype. Yes, I'm a Cowboys fan. Yes, I despise the Eagles. But last time I checked, this team lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Tampa Bay Bucks. That's who they last were. Yes, they have a decent roster. Yes, they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. But you know what I mean? They just lost the heart and soul of their team, Jason Kelsey. I think this Packers team has improved. Matt LaFleur as a dog in his career is money, just about as money as it gets. This Packers team and Dawgz in week one, it's kind of the way I'm feeling. And Dawgz in week one have been profitable over the last couple seasons. Give me the Green Bay Packers plus the points in my back pocket.
I'm not buying into the whole Jordan Love thing. I think he was a better quarterback than we thought he was, earlier in his career, and he is starting to grow along. But at the same time, this Eagles team is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. They've drafted well, they've hit free agency well, and I think they're dialed in and focused. We see sometimes teams that lose in the Super Bowl not do quite as well the following year. The Eagles did a lot better than a lot of Super Bowl losers do, and I gotta say, I expect them to make a serious run this year, and they have to be the favorites to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC. I'm going to roll with the Eagles to probably win pretty big and comfortably in this game.
Next game up, we got the Buffalo Bills laying 6.5 now. I've seen this line starting to grow as the day progresses on the Arizona Cardinals, a team I'm high on this season. I'm going to fade Buffalo to start the season here. I think that this Buffalo team is going to be, at least to start the season, overrated and overvalued. They lost their number one receiver. They lost their number two receiver in Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback. I understand that, but I'm worried about what this team is going to be now moving into this next season. Can he uplift now not the best roster? He's had a really decent roster in years past. Now can he be that quarterback that elevates everybody on his roster? I think that's remaining to be seen. This Cardinals team, I think they added an absolute dog in Marvin Harrison. And I think he's going to come out here and pair up with Kyler Murray and play extremely well. In NFL, at least recently, when we've seen a number one or a receiver that's gone in the top 5 paired up with a quarterback that's the number 1 overall, it's usually a match made in heaven, and that's what Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison are. So, and we've seen Kyler Murray in his history with good receivers play extremely well. So, the Cardinals are a team, at least early in the season, I'm kind of high on. I think they're going to be much better and improved this season. I think they do enough in this football game to keep it competitive. I want the points in my back pocket.
I'm going to roll with the Cardinals too, but for different reasons. I didn't like the way the Bills looked in the preseason because they did play a lot of their starters in a lot of portions of those games, and especially on the offensive side of the ball, where, like Jay was alluding to, there really wasn't a lot of sync between Josh Allen and those receivers that he has to work with right now. Whether that improves over the course of the season, I'm not sure, but week one, I don't see it. I also don't like James Cook as a number 1 in the backfield. I don't think he has the physical enough to do that, and I think even though he's super young, he is getting, a few-year veteran now, and that's usually when these guys start to slow down a little as well. On the other side, I like the Cardinals a lot. I believe in some of the things that Jay said, but I like all of the under props for Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that he gets a lot of attention thrown his way. I think it leaves for openings for a lot of his teammates. So I don't expect a big game out of Harrison. Maybe he comes up with some really nice catch, a highlight film thing. But I think the actual numbers probably going to be a little disappointing for those fantasy prop players. But my overall play in this game is the Cardinals.
Well, great minds think alike. I also like Arizona in this game. The Cardinals have been strong in the role of a single-digit road underdog, going 21-7 ATS. Also, guys, there's been this myth that has taken hold in the sports gambling world over the last 15 years, and that is that West Coast teams don't do well playing on the East Coast because their biological clocks are off. But it's really a crazy myth. But you'll actually get bettors playing on the East Coast teams in this situation. It's just a bunch of crap. It doesn't work. West Coast teams were 14-7-1 ATS in games played in the Eastern time zone going back to 1980. They're 371, 311-1 ATS. I'm sorry, and 17 ATS in games played in the Eastern time zone. I like the Cardinals here, regardless of where this game's being played.
Next game up, we head to Cincinnati where we have Joe Brrr back in action, man. Will Jamar Chase, his co-star, be in action? It's the million-dollar question looming over this game. Line was 9.5. We see it now drop to 7.5. Mitch, you know I'm on that. I love my Cowboys, but I'm also on that Cincinnati bandwagon. What you thinking about this team this season?
Yeah, this looks like an absolute bludgeoning. This could be the big blowout of week one. And, I know that there's some interest in the Patriots with their first-year head coach, Mayo, and all of that kind of other stuff. But there's a huge talent disparity. You're talking about a team that went to the AFC title game twice, the Super Bowl once, and when they were healthy, we're absolute home wreckers against the good teams in the NFL. I could see a lot to a little in this game, and the Bengals winning for fun. Really underestimated on the defensive side of the ball, and a rookie QB, up against a more Jacoby Brissett, not going to have a lot of answers for this Bengals team. Bengals just too many options on both sides of the ball. I'm looking for a blowout, double digits or better.
Yeah, I would have much preferred to have been getting 8.5. If you're getting 8.5, teams in week one have gone 42-27 ATS, but now it's 7.5. So that's not as strong. I still like New England here. When you take a look at how teams do off back-to-back losing years, if they're single-digit road underdogs in week one, they've gone 50-31 ATS. So I'll take a shot with the Patriots plus a 7.5.
Look, everybody knows that the Cincinnati Bengals are my second favorite team in the NFL. I love me some Cincinnati Bengals. They got Jamar Chase over there, probably the best uniform combination in the NFL, and they have the second best quarterback in the league, Joe Burrow, a.k.a. Joe Shiesty, a.k.a. Joe Brrr. He's back this season after coming off injury. Look, I really love the Cincinnati Bengals team. I bet the Cincinnati Bengals pretty heavily over the last couple seasons. In doing so, one thing that I've noticed is the Bengals typically start their season kind of slow. They're fast enders to season, but to start seasons, they usually don't come out with that same oomph and that same punch. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what we saw in this football game here. I understand the Patriots are terrible. In my NFL power rankings heading into the season, the Patriots are probably 32 of 32 in that power ranking. I still don't know if I want to lay this many points on them, especially in a week one setting. Bengals typically start slow. Patriots probably going to come in here, try to play ball control style football, a lot of running the football, a lot of running clock. I'm not playing this game as a premium or anything like that this weekend. Forced to pick this game, though, I would take the Patriots with the points in my back pocket. I wouldn't trust the Bengals as this sizable favorites, even though they are definitely head and shoulders the better football team. Next game up, we got the New York Giants at home at the crib with the Minnesota Vikings coming into town. Daniel Jones is back under center. Big Al McMorty, how you feeling here in this one?
Well, the Giants have been installed as a short home underdog, getting 1 point, and they've been horrible as a single-digit non-division home dog. They're 9-35 straight up, 14-29-1 ATS. Meanwhile, Minnesota now 5-0-1 ATS. Its last 6 is road favorites. I'm going to take the Vikings minus the point.
I'm on the Vikings in this one as well. I want to fade Daniel Jones as much as possible. Some of you follow me on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you probably should follow me on Twitter. Link in the description. But look, Daniel Jones was 32 of 32 on my NFL quarterback power rankings. Was I trolling a little bit? Yes, I was. But is he that bad? Yes, he was. Yes, he is. The Giants, they mess around and paid him a hot bag, so they have to play him. But I think if they had their choice, they would have been done with him rolling into this season. He didn't look good in any preseason action that he participated in. And I've got the book on him, bro. We have the book on him. He's never been good. So what suggests that he's going to be good this season? He does have a good young rookie wide receiver, but can he get him the football? I doubt it. No longer has a top 5 running back behind him in Saquon Barkley. I worry about this Giants team. I think they are bona fide last in the NFC East. I'm fading these boys. I much rather have Sam Darnold in Minnesota here to go in here and get the job done.
With Darnold getting the start in Minnesota, then, that just means we have 2 quarterbacks that have lost a lot of games in this stadium. So both these guys fully capable of choking this game away and a lot of interceptions. I expect to see a lot of bad passes, a lot of those hitting the ground. Some of them might be going the other way. Jefferson, Neighbors, all that stuff, it sounds good on paper, but I'll tell you the reality of it is the best players in this game are on the defensive side of the ball. I hate giving out totals, but I'm going to in this spot. I'm taking the under in what should be a brutally boring game. And I just think the Giants actually, while they don't have a great QB, at least they have the better coach in this matchup.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. New to the NFL show this season. Hey, some new segments, man. I'm going to bring in guys you're familiar with seeing over at Pick Dawgz, and they're going to come in and give you some free plays, some props, and maybe even some futures bets to put in, man. So let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling. First one up, Jovan. I had to have you on the NFL show, man. The work you've put in here at Pick Dawgz over the last couple seasons. Glad to have you here. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Let's get right to it.
Let's get right to it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans and Chicago Bears game. Now, there's been a whole lot of hype with the Chicago Bears team. The whole city's excited. The national pundits are excited. They got this team going to the playoffs, but I'm going to say not so fast. At least on the going to the playoffs part. And for this game as well. This is the first game of Caleb Williams' career. He's the number one overall draft pick of this year's draft. And, there's high expectations for this kid. While he is the highly, rated quarterback, this is game one, like I said, and it's not so easy. This is the NFL we're talking about here. This isn't college. This isn't, Pop Warner. This isn't, high school or anything like this. This is the NFL. And with that said, this is the first game plan that he's going to see that's exclusively geared to shut him down. Now, whether he gets shut down or not, that remains to be seen. But his style of play, he's more of a sandlot, quarterback type of play. He likes to scramble around and extend plays and, get the ball down the field. But that might lead to some mistakes in this one. Going up against a Tennessee team who they had an overhaul this season from head coach, not the quarterback. They have the same quarterback from last year. There's no more Ryan Tannehill. But Will Levis is there. He's going into his second season. Wasn't a full season last year, but nevertheless, he had some starts. And he had a little bit of success in certain games last year. They also, don't have King Henry on running the ball. But he's on the downside of his career. He's definitely on the back nine. So they replaced him with Pollard. They got Calvin Ridley on that side of the ball. And, let's call it what it is. The Bears, they got a hell of a defense. So they might give Will Levis and them boys some trouble. But given the points, given it's -4, -3.5 in some spots, I'm on the Tennessee Titans in this one. I think it's a 3-point game, no matter how you slice it.
I definitely could see this game going that way. The Bears hype, like you said at the beginning, is starting to get out of hand. It's starting to get out of hand, in my opinion. Rookies haven't fared well in week one when you just look back at it in the history of the NFL. I think Caleb Williams will be fine eventually, but he's going to go through the same growing pains that a lot of rookie quarterbacks go through. And Tennessee, a veteran group, Jovan, I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck in this back door and or won this game outright.
Yeah, absolutely. Might want to put a little bit of slice on the money line. With that said, it's going to go along with the spread. This is the NFL. This, like I said, this isn't Tiddlywinks. So, underdogs cash in the NFL. You just got to pick the right ones.
Fair enough. Hey, you've killed it here at Pick Dawgz over the last couple seasons. Number one handicapper last 2 seasons. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium coming up this NFL season?
Yeah, so we're going to get right to it with the Thursday game. I got both the side and the total in that game up for sale at pickdawgz.com. My time at Pick Dawgz has been successful, especially in the NFL. Last 2 seasons, I'm a combined 208, 154, and some pushes, about like 14 pushes. That's running at a 57.5% rate. Those numbers right there indicate that I'm the number one NFL handicapper over those last 2 seasons, with a first place finish 2 years ago and the second place finish last year. And I'm looking to duplicate those numbers. Well, actually, I'm trying to up the rate with that one with a 60% winner rate, for this season. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to that 2.5%, you know what I'm saying, above what I've been doing for the past 2 years. So, check me out with something long term, or my seasonal pass for the NFL, or the combination pass with college football to boot with it.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Jovan, appreciate you joining me, man. Appreciate you having you on the show. And we'll see you throughout the NFL season right here and doing all the other content you do here at Pick Dawgz.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
That's my guy, Jovan Burtz, right there, man. The work he's put in here over at Pick Dawgz over the last 2 seasons, we definitely had to have him on the NFL show. Check him out on the premium area. One of the sharpest minds when it comes to football that I know. We also had to have this next guy here on the show as well, man. Fan favorite, as I like to call him, the franchise player. Ruffalo, what's happening, my man? How you doing?
Doing well, Jay. Yeah, I got to say, NFL show, I like what you done with the place. It's pretty swanky. The green room's fully stocked. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm ready to chop up some NFL action this season. And, it's another successful venture, I have a feeling, here at Pick Dawgz with you leading the charge. So I'm excited for it. Excited to see where this thing goes.
Me and you both, man. Me and you both. Week 1, we're here. And this is your segment. Where are we heading to start off?
We're going to go down south. We're going to go to the NFC South for this one. And we got this matchup between the Panthers and the Saints. I think you could easily argue that the NFC South was the worst division in football last year. The division winner had 9 wins. And while the Saints didn't win the division, they were still one of the teams that had 9 wins there, while the Panthers had a measly 2 wins on the year. But the thing for me that stands out is that neither team really did anything in the offseason to make themselves better. They're both 2 teams with either young or bad quarterback play, in either Derek Carr or Bryce Young. The Panthers and Saints, like I said, they didn't make any acquisitions. They maybe picked up some nice draft picks, but really that's about it, in my opinion. And these are 2 teams that, we saw play twice last year. They were both ugly games. And if there was one thing that was for sure in 2023, it was that the NFC South, whenever you saw these NFC South teams go against each other, you took the under. These 2 teams were combined 10-2 to the under last year, including 2 unders in head-to-head meetings. I think we got more of the same here. I think this is going to just be an ugly slugfest for 60 minutes. 2 teams that really are going to play around and really not look like they know what they're doing before they figure it out in a couple of weeks. Kind of like what the Saints did last year. They played a bunch of low-scoring games early on and then kind of figured it out maybe as the season went on. But for me, under 41.5 has to be the play here.
Hey, I could definitely see it, man. We got, Derek Carr, who's been a journeyman, nobody's really in love with. Many people are calling for his job, calling for Spencer Rattler to be the starter. Bryce Young was the number 1 overall pick last season, but is he really surrounded by, NFL caliber weapons that can elevate him? I'm not so sure of that, Ruffalo. So, hey, 2 defensive teams, that's what they've been in recent memory. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the exact game we got here, a low-scoring defensive style game.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's defense, or sometimes it's just plain and simple bad offense. And I mean, last time I checked, you control your own fate. It's not like you rely on the other team to put points on the board for you. I mean, unless you throw a pick 6, but I don't even know if I can trust either defense to do that either. Like I said, I think this is just going to be a game that's played between the 20s, a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of just booing, moaning, and groaning from the stands. Like I said, just an ugly game for 60 minutes. That's why I love the under in this game.
I can see it. What else I can see is that you're a busy man and a hard-working man. You do a ton of content for us here at Pick Dawgz. I know you got a ton of content coming out for us this week, and I know you got some premium plays for us. What you got going on here at Pick Dawgz?
Yeah, I'm going to have stuff all week, whether it's, on the premium side, going to have my NFL Platinum play. Usually have that for $19. Usually have a multi-pick package up there as well. So definitely hop on that. But the best value is to hop on something long-term, especially with college football here. You maximize your value. A lot of times on those Saturday cards and Sunday cards, the 3-day and 7-day passes are actually less than buying each individual package daily. So best value is to hop on over on something long-term, Pick Dawgz Premium. But if you want a daily pass, we'll still make you money that way. But don't forget to use that promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off. And also make sure you check out all the free content like Jay mentioned here at Pick Dawgz on our YouTube channel, daily videos, our long-form videos like you see here with the NFL show. Tons of great content. Make sure you check it out.
Yes, sir. Ruffalo, I appreciate you more than you know, my man. Well, check out all your other content you got going on. And we'll see you this weekend. And I'll see you in Vegas this weekend as we cook up this NFL action.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Hoping I remember it by the time I get back, but we'll see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next game up. We're in Atlanta. A new and improved Atlanta is the story they're trying to tell. And is it the same old Pittsburgh Steelers? That's what we're trying to find out, man. Steelers a dog here in Atlanta. Hey, I'm gonna take the Steelers plus the points in this one. Atlanta's gonna have to show me that they're the team that they're trying to portray to the world that they are. I like the addition of Kirk Cousins. I like some of the weapons they have, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, but that's still not enough to lay this many points on a Pittsburgh team, a veteran team, a really good defensive team, a team with a track record with a head coach who we know always has his teams up and prepared. So no reason I don't think they will be here in this one. I think the Steelers are live, and getting them here as a dog, and I wouldn't be surprised if this line grew as we get closer to Sunday. I'm on Pittsburgh. I'm going to trust the veteran Russell Wilson. I think his offense does enough, but I'm mainly leaning on that Pittsburgh defense. They're usually, stout to start seasons.
I like that Pittsburgh defense too, but the thing is Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday, and I think that might be closed for the Steelers in this one. I don't know. Jay had a really good strategy last season, and I don't know why he's getting off the horse, and that is you see Russell Wilson on the field, you just take the other team, and I think that is a very sound strategy as he proved it out last year in Denver. I mean, it was straight money. We almost won the circa on that thing. I mean, the thing is that, we see Russell Wilson once again. Justin Fields looks to be a little shell-shocked back there. And, of course, he used to be on the Georgia Bulldogs before he transferred to Ohio State. He's had no luck in the state of Georgia either. I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one. Like Jay said, that running game, really, really strong. And I think that's going to kind of carry the day. This is one of those situations. You have four quarterbacks between two teams, and none of them really seem to make a statement as to who's the best on the field.
Well, will this be the first season that Mike Tomlin's Steelers suffered a losing year? I actually think it will be. Last season, if you guys recall, in the opener, Pittsburgh was bombed at home by the 49ers 30-7. They're now 4-8-1 ATS, their last 13 openers. And I mentioned this already when we talked about the Chiefs-Ravens game. When you get teams off back-to-back winning seasons like Pittsburgh, when they're installed as an underdog in week one, they've covered just 32%. I'm going to lay the points with Atlanta.
Next game up, we got the Indianapolis Colts at home at the crib with the Houston Texans coming into town. This is a game I've seen a lot on social media. There's a lot of people talking about this one. There's a lot of hype for the Texans this season. Anthony Richardson is back and healthy for the Colts. I'm interested to see how you guys are feeling here in this one. Mitch, you're up first.
Yeah, I like the Colts in this one. I like the way Anthony Richardson looked when we saw him. And I think with the big expectations on the Texans this season, I think we're going to find value on the other side of it. And I think the Texans took that big step forward last year. I expect them to take a slight step backwards this year. The Colts, when you look at this offense, it looks absolutely stacked with Pittman and, of course, Jonathan Taylor, one of the top running backs in the NFL as well. DeForest Buckner is a true stopper in the middle of that defensive line, and Blackman Jones in the secondary. I think the Colts going to be a good value under the radar team. That's AFC South, really never decided by a team that's 13-4 or 14-3. This is usually like close to 500 type team. So these home games usually good value on the home team.
Well, this is one of three division matchups in week one with the Raiders, Chargers, and Panthers, Saints also on the schedule. This division rivalry has largely gone under the total dating back to 2010. 20 of the 28 meetings have gone under. I'll look for this to be relatively low scoring as well and take the under 49.
This is a very interesting game, no matter how you want to slice it. The thing reigning over it is the Colts in week one. They're like 1-15. 1-14 last 15 years, I think it was what they are. They're that bad in week one. But I got to grab the points with the Colts here in this one. I just deep down in my stomach believe it's the right play. And I think they have a legitimate chance to win this game outright. These two teams, they hate each other. And these games are always tight. And whoever you think wins it usually always goes the other way. So I'm going to roll with the Colts. I know the history on their week one ATS stat. I know that's what's trending. But I think Trends are meant to be broken. I say that all the time, and I think this is a spot where it is. I'm not gonna hop off of here. I'm gonna take the Colts plus the points. Costi, it's football season, man. We've been talking about it all off season. We're finally here, and had to have you here on the NFL show. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great, man. Just so excited for week one. Summer's over. Now it's money-making season. My favorite time of the year.
Me and you both, my man. Me and you both. Hey, where we headed first?
We are heading down south to Miami. I love betting Miami when they're in Miami because in September, when it's hot, they are the place to be, and you get the cash. Miami always has an edge when they're playing at home in September. Now, Jacksonville is a Florida team, but still the dark jerseys playing against Miami in the all whites. I like what I've saw out of Miami in the offseason. They've added some pieces. Tyreek Hill, Waddle should be healthy for week one. Tua, A-Chain, Mostert. You could just name a ton of weapons there. This is the time to shine when it's hot. I love Miami at 3.5. We actually already bet them a few days ago, and the line hasn't moved much. It went from 3 to 3.5. It's been pretty much consistently at that number and not moving much, but 5 different groups have already bet the game. So what we do here at Insider Plays, we release the games days ahead of time. So all the clients that are watching this show already received this game 4 days ago.
Interesting. So you guys are giving out plays early. I know this is not part of the regular Pick Dawgz premium area. How are people able to get a hold of these plays and the program that you're offering?
Jay, if you just go to the premium picks tab and you'll see a drop down where it says Insider Plays, you will get connected directly to me. I am not the guy that knows a lot about these teams. I am just connected to syndicate groups that are giving us these plays in real time, which means when you're dealing with me, you're getting games 5, 6, 7 days ahead of time, beating the number. What that means is when we bet the game at a price, that price is going to move in the opposite direction closer to game time. So if you want to be sharp and you want to learn how the pros do it, this is an opportunity for you to call me. I'll give you a free consultation, give you an understanding how it all works, because it's really not for everyone. But for the guys that are properly funded and have bankrolls of $10,000 or more, it's a win-win, because not only do you win money, but you learn how the pros win money. So it's absolutely a game changer.
Appreciate you joining me as always, Costi, and we'll see you across Pick Dawgz as you do your new video series and as you pop in on the weekend and morning shows during the week.
Absolutely, man. Have a good one.
You too. Kurt, my man, how you doing, man? I'm ready to cash some props. How you doing, sir?
I'm excited, man. I mean, we got a whole new format. I mean, everything's new for me since I'm still only been here 4 months. But, I mean, I'm loving the format, loving how we're breaking it down differently. And, yeah, here to cash some props and get this season off with some nice winners. So I appreciate you bringing me in, and let's get right to it.
Most definitely, my man. Let's get to it. Hey, we're heading down to the NFC South, where we got them Saints and the Panthers battling in a division battle. What you looking at here in this one?
Yeah, this one should be interesting. I mean, the Saints are favored by 4.5, but I know this is cashing props, so obviously I got a prop for you. Here I'm looking at Derek Carr under 229.5 passing yards, and as I said, the Saints are favored, so they're up. They'll probably be running the ball more than throwing it, and they have dynamic duo with Taysom Hill. He can throw the ball, he can run the ball, he can basically do anything, and we don't know what Taysom Hill is going to do. He might not play at all, might play half the game. And the Panthers, they allowed the third fewest passing yards per game last season at 171.5. This might surprise you, but it is true. So why is Derek Carr's line 60 more passing yards when he only can really throw to Chris Olave and maybe Alvin Kamara on some checkdowns, but that'll probably only get him 5 to 6 yards max. So I'm going under here, 229.5. This seems way, way too high here, especially on the road in division. Give me the under here. Yep, next we're going over to Florida. Miami's hosting Jacksonville, and I mean, this is anytime Miami's playing, there's going to be electric plays, whether it's Tyreek Hill, Devin Achane, Jalen Waddle. But in this one, I'm looking here at Devin Achane over 53.5 rushing yards. In the games that he had 10-plus rushing attempts last season, he went 5 for 5 over this rushing prop total, and he had 103 rushing attempts for 800 yards last season. This is 7.8 yards per carry. This is ridiculous. He's one of the best running backs, in my opinion, in the league, and definitely very explosive. And Raheem Mostert, he's got some tread on those tires. All he's doing is getting older. Achane should be the bell cow in this offense, and when you have to worry for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, there's also just going to be a lot more room for running lanes here. So Achane, he should definitely go over this rushing at 53.5. He breaks some long runs. He could literally do this in 26 or 27-yard carries. So I'd be shocked if he goes under here. Yeah, it's not snowy yet in Buffalo in September, so I'm looking here at an over receiving prop for Khalil Shakir. Gabe Davis is gone. Stephon Diggs are gone. This is about 1,800 yards unaccounted for. Who's going to be having to catch these passes? Because Josh Allen, he passes for 4,300 yards at least in the last 4 seasons. Khalil Shakir came on at the end of last season, formed some very good chemistry with Josh Allen. Some big games, was a big guy that he relied on even in the playoffs, so he'll be his security blanket. Other guys like Keon Coleman coming in, he's a high-rated rookie, but he hasn't had the time to get the chemistry yet with Josh Allen. And, I mean, as I said, Stephon Diggs is gone. Gabe Davis is gone. Arizona, they allowed 212.5 yards through the air last season, so this is about a fifth of that. Fifth of those yards needed goes to Shakir. He's the undisputed number one option in this passing game and one of the highest over-unders in week 1. We should see a lot of points, so we should see a lot of yards. Give me the over for Khalil Shakir receiving yards in this one. Yeah, I mean, what's a prop show without a touchdown scorer here in the NFL? Joe Mixon to get in the back of the end zone here in week 1. When he was on the Bengals, his last game, he scored against the Colts. The Texans are playing the Colts in their opener on the road, and the Texans, they don't have a guy where they just push him in from 3 yards out like the Eagles do. So they want to get their new guy going. Their high-octane offense, new guys Diggs and Mixon. And if they're on the 3-yard line, they're going to give it to Mixon. They want to get him off to a fast start. And he's just a volume running back. I mean, he's the definition of volume running back. He could get 18, 20 yards or 20 carries per game. And one of those, he'll get in the back of the end zone, as we also have another high over-under in this one. So back Mixon at any time, touchdown at plus 120. My other props here on cashing props with Kirk: Derek Carr under 229.5 passing yards, Devon Achane over 53.5 rushing yards, and Khalil Shakir over 46.5 receiving yards. I appreciate you having me on the show. I mean, happy to be here, and thank you.
Appreciate you joining us, man. Appreciate you joining us. We look forward to an amazing season from you here in the NFL and here on the new and improved NFL show. So look to see you, look to have you more. Appreciate you, Kirk. And we'll check you out over at Pick Dawgz Premium and things of that nature. That's my guy, Kirk, right there, coming in with some props. Make sure you guys check him out over at Pick Dawgz Premium, and you check out his video content that he does for us here at Pick Dawgz. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, got the Los Angeles Chargers at home, at the crib, with the Las Vegas Raiders rolling into town. Big Al McMorty, how you feeling about this one?
Well, since 1988, the Chargers have gone under 86, 36, and 1 at home versus division rivals, including 3-0 under last season. Then you take a look at the Raiders. They've gone under 68, 40, and 1 in division road games, including 3-0 under last season. I've been riding this for years, and I'm going to take the under in this division rivalry.
Yeah, Big Al, I could definitely see this being a low-scoring game. Of all games this weekend, this is probably my least favorite here in the NFL action. I'm just not high on the Chargers. I think they're going to be overrated and overvalued per usual. Everybody loves Justin Herbert. They think he's the chosen one, the next one. Can the guy win a playoff game first? Remember, the one playoff game we seen him in, he got walked down. They were up tremendously, and the Jags walked him down. So until Herbert even wins a playoff game, I'm kind of off that Chargers bandwagon, and I want to fade them more often than not. The problem here in this game is I'm not in love with the Raiders either. Gardner Minshew, he's been a journeyman. He's a bottom-tier quarterback. Aiden O'Connell behind him, he's not much better, if better at all. I do like the head coach for the Raiders, but I don't think he has the talent to do much of anything in this one. Week 1, I think we see a lot of running the football, a lot of sloppy play. I'm going to take the under with you, Big Al. Mitch, how you feeling here in this one?
Yeah, for this one, obviously it's Jim Harbaugh's debut for the Chargers and the Raiders. A lot to prove as they have a first-year head coach as well, and I believe that that certainly adds something to it. But the Chargers certainly are the more talented team, and I think that's something that has really escaped them, and why I think they've been such a disappointment in recent years. I think what we've seen from Jim Harbaugh is he'll play more of a conservative style with his teams, which makes laying points a very, very tough task. And that's why we see such a short total in this game. But I think at the end of the day, I think the Chargers are the better team. I don't love this one, but I'll lay the 3.
Next game up, we got the Denver Broncos out on the road facing the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks and the 12th man are favored by 6 here in this game. I'll be short, sweet, and simple in this one as well. I lean towards Seattle. Not a game I'm necessarily rushing to the window to bet, but the reason I would lean towards Seattle, I like fading rookie quarterbacks, especially on the road early in their season. Bo Nix, he was good at Oregon. We'll give him credit for being good at Oregon, but do we know if he's good in the NFL? Watching him in the preseason, I really didn't see him throw the ball downfield much. I seen a lot of dink and dunk. I seen a lot of to the running back, a lot of screens. That may work in preseason action, but when the game plan is dialed towards you, especially in a hostile building like Seattle, I think fading the young rookie quarterback is probably where I want to be. I'm not that high on Geno Smith. I know Clappy is gone now in Seattle. They have a new head coach, so there's still some question marks on Seattle. That's really why I'm not rushing to the window in this one, but I think that environment, one of the loudest stadiums in all of the NFL, will definitely have the young rookie shaking a bit. I would look at laying the points with Seattle here in this one.
Last year, I slept on the Broncos for a good portion of the games that they played better and then covered the point spread. I'm not going to make the same mistake this season. I think the Seahawks, with a new head coach and a new look as well, certainly have a lot of things to be excited about. And they've had one of the best, receiving cores for quite some time. I'm still not 100% sold on the quarterback position in Seattle or this rebuilding defense. Of course, star players there on defense, but I don't know if it's a star defense overall. The Broncos, a lot of holes to fill. But once again, I think that this number is just a little bit too big to be laying this kind of points. I don't know who wins the game, but I think getting 6 in my back pocket, I'll take the Broncos.
Well, the once proud Denver Bronco franchise has now had 7 losing seasons in a row, but teams like Denver, off back-to-back losing years, have now gone 50 and 31 ATS as single-digit road underdogs in Game 1. I'm going to take the Broncos plus the points.
Next game up, we got my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, man. We're out on the road facing the Cleveland Browns. Browns favored in week 1 over a good opponent. They're laying 2.5 here in this one. Interesting game. Mitch, how you feeling?
This is an interesting one because we have a lot of question marks for both teams. But I think, at the end of the day, the Cowboys were a team that many thought, could go pretty deep last season, while the Browns have been a team that just seems to disappoint year after year. They suffered a slew of major injuries last season, including Nick Chubb, who, still not 100% yet, and probably going to take a little while to get there. The Cowboys getting CeeDee Lamb back in the fold. They have a lot of other big players there on this defense and on the offense. I just think getting points with the Cowboys here, I would think that the Cowboys probably win this game outright.
Well, the Cowboys have been dreadful versus top flight teams. They've gone just 23, 43, and 1 ATS versus teams with a winning record, or if it's week 1, versus teams that had winning seasons the previous year. That doesn't bode well for Dallas in this Game 1, nor does the fact that teams off back-to-back winning seasons like Dallas, they've covered just 32% as underdogs in week 1. I'm going to take Cleveland minus the 2.5.
Fair enough. For me, everybody already knows where I'm at. I'm taking my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, and personally, I'm going to take them straight up on the money line. Look, I still believe we're the better team. Short, sweet, simple. And the line kind of reflects that, as the Browns are not 3-point favorites at home at the crib. To be honest, only reason I think we're dogs in this game is because of the confusing offseason we had. CeeDee Lamb held out most of the offseason. Dak still doesn't have his new contract. So there's some things going on here in Dallas that kind of, to the outside masses, is not appealing. And I definitely understand that. But for Cleveland, Nick Chubb still won't play here. Deshaun Watson, I still have major question marks on him. The defense for Cleveland is legit, but I think the Cowboys offense will be just fine here in this game. Look, when it comes to my Cowboys, A, a lot of y'all know I am a homer. Let's just call a spade a spade. But B, the Dallas Cowboys have been a top 3 profitable team the last 3 seasons in the NFL combined. So they've been a money-making team, and I enjoy betting my team because they do beat up on teams that they're supposed to beat up on and cover the point spreads 9 times out of 10. So, yes, this pick is a little homerish, but again, I think we're still the better team. I think we have the better quarterback, and I think we go out here and win this game on the road. Cleveland, whenever they step up in big primetime games like this one will be, they almost always fall flat on their face, and that's exactly what I think they'll do. My Cowboys, I kind of like that the hype this season isn't through the roof. When the Cowboys hype is through the roof, that's when we typically fall flat on our face. But when you don't hear expectations too high is usually when they have their best seasons. Look out, man. In a prove-it style year with everybody, trying to prove that they're worth the contract that they're asking for, wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys had an amazing season this year. So, short, sweet, simple. Taking my favorite team as I think we go into Cleveland on the road and get this one done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep this show rolling. This next guy up, I already know y'all love him. I like to call him Mr. Rundown. Ron, my main man, welcome to the NFL show. How you doing today, sir?
Thanks for having me, Jay. I'm doing great. Can't wait for the NFL season. We got a great show here. I mean, this was a great idea of yours to have this kind of NFL show. We're going to give out a lot of winners, and usually I'll be giving out, game picks, but for this first week, I wanted to give out a futures play.
Let's do it then. Let's do it. Let's talk. Where are we heading to?
We're going to Tampa Bay. I'm looking at the Buccaneers this season. Last year we know Tampa Bay won the NFC South, and they won a playoff game as well in the playoffs. But this year I'm not as high on the Bucs. I think they take a step back, and I like their under win total. Now this is different at different books. You're going to see 7.5 with some juice on the under, or on the over. And then you're going to see 8.5 with some juice on the under. Whatever you prefer. I took the 7.5 at plus money under. I just think when you look at Baker Mayfield, yes, he had a great season, a bounce-back season last year, but are we really ready to believe in his game for another 17-game season in a division? And I think all 3 of the teams improved, albeit maybe not big improvements, but I still think all 3 of those teams, the Falcons, Saints, and Panthers, got better. And I think the Bucs got worse. And I think they were honestly one of the more lucky teams in the NFL in 2023. Then you look at the schedule this season. They have a brutal schedule from weeks 4 through weeks 10, where they play the Eagles. They play 2 road games in Atlanta and New Orleans. They play the Ravens. They play the Chiefs, the 49ers. I just don't see 8 or 9 wins on this schedule. I think they miss the playoffs, and I think they go under the win total.
To be honest, that wouldn't shock me, man. I think this is probably one of the toughest divisions in all of the NFL. I wouldn't even be surprised the Panthers snuck up and were much better this season than they were last year. So something we definitely got to keep an eye on. Division winners don't repeat all that often. So an under here for Tampa is not out of the question. I could see it. I could definitely see it, my man. Now, I know last season I did the NFL Jam session going over every single game. And I'm kind of doing that here on this NFL show. But 2 seasons ago, we had an NFL rundown. I believe it's back this season. Am I right?
It is back. It's back. We actually did really well on that rundown. I think we only had a couple of losing weeks in terms of going over every single game every week. And, I'm coming off, back-to-back winning seasons in the premium area in the NFL as well. So I'm ready to go. I got my NFL season pass up there. I'll be here every week on the YouTube channel going over every game. My grandma's super excited that it's back because she used my videos a couple of years ago to do well in her survivor pool. So I did it for grandma, and I'm going to do it for you guys as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Ron. We had to have you on the NFL show. We're going to check out the rundown like we do every day for baseball for the NFL. Appreciate you, my man, and we'll see you on the college football show and, of course, all the content you do here at Pick Dawgz.
Thanks, Jay.
Brad, my man, what's happening? How you doing today?
Jay, I'm doing well. I can't complain. Currently recording this on Wednesday. NFL season starts tomorrow. It feels like forever. We got a great game. I can't complain. I'm a happy fella right now. I don't know about you, but very excited.
I'm excited too, man. I'm excited too. I'm happy you're here with me on the NFL show, and I'm glad, like you said, NFL's tomorrow, man. So let's cook it up, man. Let's cook it up. Let's get the people some winners.
Let's do it. Alrighty, for the first pick, we are headed to the first game of the night. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm looking at Rashee Rice here, and I'm actually going to go under 60.5 receiving yards. I thought this number was a bit too high. Last season, he got under this number at a 65% clip. We saw these teams play in the AFC Championship last season, and he only finished with 46 yards in that game. Baltimore had the sixth best passing defense in the league last season. I expect them to be very strong in that department as well. We all know Patty Mahomes got a new shiny toy with Xavier Worthy, so don't be surprised if Xavier kind of cuts into Rashee Rice's target share as well. So I'm loving Rashee Rice under 60.5 receiving yards in this spot. For the next one, we're looking at DeAndre Swift, and I'm going over 11.5 receiving yards. Look, DeAndre Swift, he has been a pass-catching running back his whole career. When he was with the Lions, he got over this number at an 87% clip. And look, we all know the Bears are starting rookie quarterback Caleb Williams, and I personally think the check-down pass is a rookie quarterback's best friend. They got guys like DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. I mean, this wide receiver room is stacked. That's going to get a lot of attention from defenses, which should open things up for DeAndre Swift. So, I mean, this is also a short number. All we need is one long reception, and I think DeAndre Swift hits this. So, give me DeAndre Swift over 11.5 receiving yards. Alrighty, last but not least, we're looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'm going over 83.5 receiving yards. I think we see another massive season from Amon-Ra this season. In his 7 home games last season, he over this number in 6 of them. And the last time he played the Rams, he had 110 yards on 10 targets. And look, this is the highest total of Sunday slated games. I expect the starts to show out. I think we see a high-scoring shootout type of game. So I think Amon-Ra will get the targets to hit over this number. So for the last pick, give me Amon-Ra over 83.5 receiving yards.
I could definitely see it. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a lot of people expecting him to take that next step, the Lions to take that next step. This is going to be a star-studded wide receiver game. You got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua on the other side. I think it's going to be a fun game to end off Sunday with, so I can't wait to watch it. And it's probably when I'm going to have to slide on a late ticket or so. We'll see.
Yep, no, I totally agree. And yeah, same thing. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities with the Rams receivers as well in that Rams offense. It should be a fun one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, money-making weekend coming up. Football is back, baby. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium?
Yeah, so like I said, it's midweek right now, so I'm in the lab. I'm cooking up plays, but expect 5 to 7 plays for Saturday's college football slate, and then 3 to 5 plays for NFL slate. That's usually how I like to roll. So yeah, keep an eye on Pick Dawgz Premium.
Appreciate you, Brad, man. Hey, we'll see you here every week as we continue to try to cash some props and cook up some NFL action.
Yes, sir. I'll see you next week. 2
of my guys right there in Ron Romanelli and Brad Francis. Make sure you check both of them out over at Pick Dawgz Premium. Hey, let's get to the last few games on the card, man. We got 3 games left and get y'all, ladies and gentlemen, in and out of here. So let's do exactly that. Next game up, we got the Washington Commanders out on the road facing the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bucks, 3.5-point home favorites. Interesting game. Rookie quarterback, first-year head coach in Washington. Tampa was just in the postseason a year ago. Big Al McMorty, how you feeling here in this one?
Well, last season, the Commanders were just 4-13, while Tampa Bay was in the playoffs. But over the last 34 years, when you get a team that had a win percentage less than .428, those teams have gone 68, 34, and 1 ATS in week 1, when priced from plus 3.5 to plus 6.5 points, including 19 and 4 ATS when playing a road game versus an opponent which made the playoffs the previous year. So in this price range, I'm going to take Washington plus the 3.5.
Well, in this one, we've got a couple teams that really, I would say for me, muted expectations is kind of putting it mildly. I think they're 2 teams that certainly have some growth ahead of them, but with the Bucs, still some holdovers from that Super Bowl team a few years ago. So certainly some guys who have been there and done that. But at this point, what that becomes is overpaid veteran players. Meanwhile, for Washington, a lot of excitement there about the quarterback position. But I think also they unloaded some people at the skill positions. And I think that might come back and bite them as well. I think this one's going to be a hard-fought battle. That total at 43.5 certainly looks live to the underside. I'm going to just roll with the under in the Bucs Commanders.
Let's talk some Sunday Night Football. We got an NFC playoff rematch here for Sunday Night Football. Mitch, it's the Lions and the Rams. How you feeling here in this one?
Well, this is an interesting one because what we have is Matthew Stafford versus his former team and Jared Goff versus his former team. And kind of the roles have flipped a little bit as the expectations for the Lions are the team that's really through the roof, while the Rams, certainly a little bit more muted expectations. The thing about the Lions that I generally don't like is I think Dan Campbell, and we saw this in the playoffs last year, is a riverboat gambler, which it can be good, but at the same time, it could come up and bite you, especially against a team that has some talent like the Rams and sneaky talent. And I tell you where the sneaky talent is, at the receiver. So you got a quarterback that can throw the football down the field. You also have receivers that just simply don't drop passes. And I think that is a pretty good combination. Of course, it's tough not to be excited about all the things happening in Detroit, but I think the Rams probably getting a little bit underestimated here. I'll take the Rams and the points.
Well, in this Sunday night matchup, we've got a rematch of last year's playoff game, which was won by Detroit 24-23. In week one, playoff rematches tend to be high scoring. They've now gone 39-28 over the total. I like the over here when you take a look at how Detroit has done at home under Dan Campbell. They've gone over the total 17 of 27. The Rams have also gone over the total 6 of their last 8 road games. This game should be high scoring. I'm going to take the over. Well, this is the second season that Aaron Rodgers has been featured on Monday Night Football. Of course, last year he was injured in that game, which wrecked the Jets' 2023 campaign. Hopefully he'll stay healthy for this season. When you take a look at how Aaron Rodgers' teams have done when he's been the starting quarterback, they've gone 140, 105 ATS with him under center, including 28-16 ATS as an underdog of +4 or less points. So I like the Jets here as the road dog on Monday night. You can also take a look at what San Francisco has done as a home favorite if its opponent was not off a straight-up win. Of course, it's game one, so the Jets aren't off a straight-up win. San Francisco's gone 2-18 ATS their last 20 in that situation. I'm going to take the Jets plus the points.
Yeah, Big Al, I'll agree with you here in this one. I'll take the Jets plus the points in my back pocket. The Niners, they're probably still the favorite in the NFC after, representing the NFC in the Super Bowl last season. It was a weird offseason for the Niners. Ayuk was threatening to leave. They ended up paying him. Trent Williams wanted his money. They ended up paying him. So the Niners, they're pretty much the same team that we've become accustomed to knowing. And they're likely going on a deep playoff run again this season. The Jets, everybody loves the Jets. I'm seeing a lot of people taking the Jets to make and win the Super Bowl. I say pump your brakes there, in all honesty. They're still the Jets. But I understand how they got there. They have a Hall of Fame quarterback, a really good running back, a top 10 receiver in Garrett Wilson, and I think the best unit on the field is their defense. So I definitely understand why some people are extremely high on the Jets, but at the end of the day, they're still the Jets. I don't like their head coach in Robert Saleh. I think he might be one of the worst in the NFL currently. We'll see if they're able to overcome their head coach and, just being the Jets. But for tonight, for this game, Monday night, I'll take New York plus the points in my back pocket. And that's going to conclude the new and improved NFL show. Man, I really hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm going to be here all season long as I'll host this show. It's supposed to come out every Wednesday. It's the first one. I got to get used to editing and things of that nature. I am the one editing this, so if there's some parts that's off, blame me. I'll get better as the season goes along. The main goal of this show, though, is to give you guys the winners, and I believe we're going to do exactly that all season long. The production will just continue and continue and continue to get better as the weeks go along. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all more than y'all know. Do me a favor. All I ask is that you smash that like button, drop a comment, let us know who y'all like in the comments. Share this with a friend, a sibling, your betting group, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. However you want to do it, man, you can do it. Remember, our best bets are over at Pick Dawgz Premium. Scoop them up over there. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs, man. Really hope y'all enjoyed this show. We'll see you again next week. I'm out of here. Peace.